Hope there are lots of you out there listening in this evening. This is the first of a series of live transmissions on Facebook that we're going to be conducting, questions and answer sessions, and we're going to be interviewing various sponsors that we have on board the Silverrudder team. The program for this evening is very simple. We're going to show you some recaps of some interviews we've done previously. We've got Nick Andersen here from Boye-P Sales live in the studio with us. We'll be talking to him about the sponsorship that they've undertaken with Silverrudder. They started just a couple of weeks ago. Hi there, Nick. Good to see you. Following that, we'll be watching a couple of other films. We're going to be talking about rules of the race. We're going to be talking about a few changes that have made. We're going to talk about the registration process. 450 tickets were just torn out of our hands in 30, 35 minutes, depending on who you ask. A little bit about the media coverage that you can expect for the Silverrudder this year. And we'd also like to invite you to ask any questions you like. Fleming, my loyal studio and camera guy, is just there behind me. Not physically, of course, but yeah, he's with me. And he's going to post any questions you might have on the bottom of the streamer here, so anybody can read the questions and I'll do my best to answer. So if you have any questions regarding the equipment or the race rules or changes that have been made or modifications, just let me know. Anything in the notes of race or in the statutes of the race, please feel free to ask. Yeah, great. Well, Nick, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Nick. Well, welcome to this first live streaming session. Nick, perhaps you'd like to tell the viewers just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. My name is Nick. I'm almost 18 years old now, and I work at the Boye-P Sales here in Svendborg. I raced the Silverrudder for the first time in 2022. So this year is going to be my third race. I raced as the youngest participant to compete. And now my company here, Boye-P, together with Henrik Boye, we are sponsoring the Silverrudder this year.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Nick. That's great. Yeah, Nick's been a huge inspiration to lots of youngsters out there, and we'd like to see as many of Nick's generation participating in the race now. Now, with Nick is actually my neighbor in the harbor, and it's not, our boats lie next to each other. It's not because I was necessarily an inspiration to him at all, but I know that certainly his colleague and boss, Henrik Boye-Pedersen, who has the loft that Nick works at, has definitely been an inspiration to him. He's raced the Silverrudder numerous times and has done a lot of single-handed sailing, and he's really inspiration to youngsters that want to do this kind of racing. Nick, help the listeners out. What advice would you give to anybody who wants to race the Silverrudder? Specifically, imagine somebody your age, the age of 18, or even when you started, the amazing, very low age of 16. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to race a Silverrudder?
So I think the one biggest thing is experience and training, and getting to know your boat in all various weather conditions and places you might find yourself in while sailing. So that's really the big thing to have in mind when training up for the Silverrudder. So that can be alone. That would probably give the best picture of what it is to sail the Silverrudder, but it could also be on different boats with different crews. Just get out sailing. That will really be beneficial.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying get to know your boat, lots of hours in the water, try and preempt any situations that might arise, because you never know when they're going to happen. That's definitely good advice for any single-handed sailor, regardless if you're 16 or you're 18 years old or 80 years old. Plenty of hours in the water. So Nick, what specific training did you do? If you had to tell me, I went out and I did this or that, what did you do? Did you like to make yourself very familiar and very well acquainted with your boat and your gear?
Yeah, so I think you have to think through all the maneuvers. You have to experience on in the Silverrudder race. All different sail hoist up and down and boat maneuvers you have to be able to do, and that can be spinnakers up down if you don't have furling jibs. That could also be switching jibs and reefing your mainsail in and out. So these very specific boat handling things you have to be able to do in order to sail safely in every weather condition, and also sail fast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Nick, what kind of boat did you race the Silverrudder the last couple of editions?
Yeah, so I raced my family's Beneteau 323, and I've made a lot of improvements on it together with my dad primarily, to make it faster and but primarily also safer and easier to use, to feel secure on the boat. So that can both be improving systems and trim lines, but also running through all the safety things you have to have in mind in the Silverrudder, and also just while sailing cruising with your friends and family.
Okay, great. Okay, so the first time you raced, you just, I suppose your ambition was just to complete, not compete, but to complete, to say, hey, I did it. What are your ambitions now? This is your third, this is going to be your third Silverrudder.
Yeah, you're right. The first ambition is just to complete, and the goals get higher and higher every year. And I have a bit of it's hard to get my boat to sail faster than it can, but yes, I have some ambitions to get faster around now that I've proved that I actually can get around. Although the first time was faster than the last time. Last year was a really long race, so yeah, but I'm hoping to go faster this year.
Yeah. The first year you participated in 22. Yeah, there was very varying conditions. There wasn't, very lot of wind at the start and hardly any wind at the end. So, what makes the
Yeah.
Silverrudder difficult? Or what? Yeah. What makes it so difficult? Because a lot of people have tried 5 times and not completed. I mean, it's only 134 miles, and it's around an island. You can see land at all times. It's really not very complicated. But why does it take some people 6 attempts to complete the race?
I think although it's just 135 miles, you get to experience all the different, not the big seas, but every different scenario you could get yourself in with your boat, both in Lillebælt and Svendborg Sound, with tight maneuvers and shallow water. And there are not many parts of the race which are more than, I don't know, 30 miles or 20 miles. So you have to be awake and fresh the whole race, and be able to make your boat go very fast the whole race.
So you have to optimize constantly and constantly think about your next maneuver, your next race, or your next course. Yeah, and take into consideration other boats around you and current and wind changes. You're right, and it's a very dynamic race. There's a lot going on all the time. Nick, could you tell us a little bit about Boye-P? I mean, if you you're a very young man to work at a sail loft. Tell us about the loft, and tell us about Henrik and you and your whole sort of your teamwork working in the loft, and the fact that you wanted to join the Silverrudder as not only just participants but also as a like a team player, as a sponsor for us.
Yeah, so the sail loft, Henrik has had the sail loft for over 10 years now, and I joined back in 21, I believe it was. So nearly 3 years now. I've been together with Henrik and experiences all the different scenarios you can get out, and all the different products you make as a sail maker. But of course, we primarily make sails, and I've learned a lot from Henrik about sails and lines and all the things that makes a boat go fast and a boat to be safe. So that's really our main focuses, our core values, to have a safe, secure and a fast boat, and we think that aligns very good with the Silverrudder. When you sail the Silverrudder, you have a boat that is very safe and secure, probably also one that you want to go as fast as possible, And such a boat is also good as a family and friends cruiser, as well as a racer, single-handed racer.
Nick, are there any boats you would say? I was going to say, we have all kinds of boats at the Silverrudder. We have open 40s, class 40 open boats. We have Nordic folk boats. We have Seascape 18s and X4 6s and X4 9s, and we've had X50s, and Dealer 49s, Dealer 41s. I mean, we've got a lot of really smart, Wassa 38 Henrik's boats. We've got a lot of really smart boats. Is there any limitation to what kind of boats you would consider to be suitable or unsuitable for this kind of race?
I think a very wide range of boats can be made to fit the Silverrudder. Again, it has to be personalized and be trained in by the skipper who wants to race it. So it is a really wide range of boats. Some are, of course, faster. If you're the biggest boat in your category, it's going to be easier to compete fast. But many boats can be suitable if you make them to be.
Yeah, and yet, even though it's normally the fastest boat in the category, it's quite often it's the fastest skipper, not the fastest boat. And if you look at the guys on the hit list, the top 10 every year, they're not necessarily in the same boat, but they're still at the top of the list. Yeah. Nick, thanks very much for joining us this evening.
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a question for Nick. Yeah. Did you say last question to Nick Fleming? Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yes, it's on the list now. It wasn't there before. Christopher Olsen Kidborn. Thanks for asking the question, Christopher. Good to see you here. And maybe I should just say that Christopher is the guy that made the great drone film of the Silverrudder next year. This year he's participating in the small multi-hulls. Good to see you, Christopher. I'm looking forward to meeting you on the starting line. Nick, could you sleep at all during the race?
I did not sleep. Maybe I could have slept a little at the north of Fyn, but I did not do it the first or the second time, and I think I won't do it any time. So maybe you can, but when there are 450 boats competing, you are often really close to other boats, so I wouldn't risk it.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot for your answer, Nick. We're going to round off with you for this evening. I've got a couple of other films to present, and I'd also like to talk a little bit about the race and a few new rules, and also I'd like to look at the participants list. So, Nick, thank you very much for joining us. Boye-P.dk Sales. If you want some cool sails made and you want them made in Svendborg ready for delivery anytime during the spring or summer, get in touch with Boye-P. Find them on www.boye-p.com. Thanks for joining us, Nick. Say hi to Henrik.
I will do. Thank you. Hi.
Well, Fleming, what have you got in store for us? Another film? You'd like to just quickly show us the film with this? It's Cyril Jacobsen next? Yeah. I'd like to just very briefly remind you of the visit we had last year from Cyril Jacobsen, who is responsible for some of the biggest single-handed races in the world. He's responsible for the Solitaire de Figaro. He's responsible for the Rake Ultime Challenge, with huge, great big multi-hulls, and the Transat CTCs. I mean, he works for a company called OC Sport as a development director, and he decided to come and visit us at Svendborg during the Silverrudder last year to check out how a little tiny race like this could have had 450 participants when he had problems enrolling more than 20 or 30 boats. It was a very humble approach. Well, enjoy the film, enjoy the interview we had with Cyril, and I'll get back to you in a couple of minutes.
Hi, this is Philip here at the harbour, one day till kickoff of the Silverrudder. Standing next to me is Cyril Jacobsen, who's come all the way from France, from OS Sport, who's manager and presenter and owner of huge sports events all over the world. And we've invited Cyril to come and take a look at our humble race. And he would like to come and get inspired of what we do, and we'd like to get inspired of what he does. So he's going to introduce some of the races that he takes care of. and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Philip. I'm super happy to be there. Thank you for the invite. Fast-growing event, single-ended. We love that. The format is just great, and congrats for your job. Thank you to all the volunteers and your team. What you do is excellent. On our side, so as you said, we're a French-based company. We are the world leader in offshore sailing competitions organization. We are a private company. We do organize the Route du Rhum every 4 years. And then we also have many other races like Solitaire du Figaro, Paprec, like Transat Paprec, double-ended. We also have the Transat Anglaise, formerly, now renamed Transat CIC, starting next spring from Lorient to New York on the North Route. And our next big event is going to be this January. For the first time in history, we will launch around the world multi-hull single-ended race on the Ultime. But it's the biggest one on Earth to race with. There will be 6 of them at the start. So yes, very, very busy planning of offshore sailing, starting mainly from France and going either in the West Indies or in the US or around the world.
So it's basically the multi-hull equivalent of the Vendée Globe, which is hugely famous.
The race I just mentioned, which is the Arkea Ultime Challenge, is the same format as the Vendée Globe, solo, around the
Non-stop?
world, non-stop.
Fantastic.
So yes, it's going to be very interesting to watch and follow.
Well, Cyril, our boats are nowhere near that caliber. I mean, as you can see, we have folk boats, LA-28s, Seascape 18s. They're not going to be racing the Vendée Globe or the Route du Rhum or the Solitaire du Figaro. So tell us how we can inspire you or you can inspire us.
Yes, I mean, first of all, you know, sailing is a small world. And being there and exchanging with all the sailors here, even amateurs, is always interesting. And we have races for them, and we have new formats that could be also interesting for them. For example, as an innovation next year, we will open the Solitaire du Figaro Paprec, the first leg, to amateur. They can come over to France, rent a Figaro 3 boat, a Beneteau 3, and go for the first leg double-ended within the competition, within the format of the competition, with the security and so on, and the atmosphere. So if they want to try this fantastic boat and have a taste of what is the Solitaire, they can come over end of August next year and take part to the first leg for only €500 of registration.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's fantastic. And the next year, I mean in 2025, we'll have a new transatlantic race in a double-ended, and with one male and one female.
So
it's a mixed
crew.
Mixed crew.
Yeah.
And we do this to also promote female sailing. So for all the women and girls who are maybe afraid to go through the Atlantic solo, single-ended, they can do it on a Figaro 3 with their friend or their husband, and take part to the race.
Because that's really one of our biggest goals, is to try and increase the number of female sailors
yes.
of the race. You know, we only have 7 or 8 ladies sailing this year, and we'd love to see 50. In fact, last year I promised that if we could reach 50, I would stage a big party afterwards, so they can dance and enjoy each other.
Yeah, it's worth remembering that this is one of the very, very few sports where female and male compete together against each other.
Yeah, without handicaps.
Without handicaps. I mean, there's equestrian and sailing. Yeah, they're the only two.
Yeah.
So we need to push for more women, and there's fantastic story of very good women at sailing, like Ellen MacArthur,
Sure.
we've been helping in the past through our company. There's a lot of Florence Artaud, famous women who can win and be faster than the men. So they shouldn't be afraid and race against them.
Get out there and get a boat. And why not start it by doing the first leg of the Solitaire du Figaro
Yes.
at Cyril's race next year? That would be fantastic.
You would be my guest and very welcome.
Thanks, I've enjoyed that very
Thank you,
much.
Philip.
And thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Good.
That was Cyril Jacobsen, and some amazing film coverage made by Flemming Jørgensen, our photographer and my loyal companion on the Silverrudder. All the interviews and stuff that we do in the harbour and all the films we make, I've always got Flemming somewhere there behind us. So well done to Flemming. The next thing we'd like to talk about is first of all, a new sponsor agreement that we've made with Premium Ropes. And I'll be talking about some splicing courses that you guys can attend anytime you like. And then just before we do that, I'd like to share with you some exciting new merchandise that we've started producing for you guys. So I'm just going to flash you over to our Silverrudder website. So bear with me for a second. And once I get to the Silverrudder website, I shall be showing you. I just go to the top for a second. This merchandise site that we've just made for you. So if any of you that fancy wearing or sporting a nice classic polo, or for men or for your wife, or a long arm t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, or sweatshirts, or jackets, the padded vest that we volunteers use, you're welcome to go and buy it. There's something that looks like a finisher t-shirt, except it doesn't have the finisher name on the back, the logo on the back. It doesn't say finisher. But you can buy an apron if you want to do your barbecuing, thinking about the Silverrudder, impress your friends with a nice barbecuing apron when you stand in the kitchen. Go on to the site and have a look. It's, as you know, silverrudder.com. Yeah? Okay. I'd like to just go back from the website a second and just present to you these dates here. We've entered into an agreement with Premium Ropes, and on the website you can see that we've organized 2 exclusive splicing workshops for you guys on Monday the 22nd of April and Thursday the 25th of April. So the 22nd and the 25th of April, starting in 1900 Central European time now. If you want to participate, you can see my cursor, just click on the bottom of the page and it links to 3 various options, whether you want to buy splicing gear, rope, or the whole splicing set. But log on and we'll see you there at the splicing events on the 22nd and the 24th. Sorry, I'll repeat that. On the 22nd and the 25th of April. Sorry for the confusion. Now, Flemming is going to just flash up an interview that I did with Søren from Premium Ropes last year on the harbour. Now, any second now, we should have the Premium Ropes film that Flemming will show you.
Hi, this is Philip here at the harbour in Svendborg, 2 days before the Silverrudder. Just setting up on the pier here is Søren from Premium Ropes. Welcome, hi. Søren.
Thank you. Hi.
We're delighted to have you here. Søren and Premium Ropes are one of the very latest additions to the whole team of sponsors that really generously support our event. Now, Søren and Premium Ropes have kindly set up on the harbour here, and Søren's perhaps going to tell us a little bit about the services and products that they're going to be offering the 400 sailors that are going to be here for the Silverrudder. Søren?
Yeah, hi. We are at Premium Ropes. We are not only a rope delivery person or a rope manufacturer for you, we also do splicing so that we can make the ropes custom made to the wishes and the requirements that the sailors have. For example, if they need a splice on it, or like I show you here, a certain like attachment on that, make a shackle on it, or make a soft lash on it, or have a low friction ring on it, then we can also make this happen, and so that the sailor can actually use the rope for the purpose that he wants it to. I've brought with me a splicing bench here, and it's right mounted in front of the harbor, so everybody can get to us here. I have a stack of rope with me, and then if you need, or if you come for some reason unprepared or have a damage, we will be here to help you and fit out your boat so Silverrudder can be a successful challenge for you.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Søren. I mean, and Søren's got a whole pack of rope in the van that he's brought with him here. So come down to the harbour, check out Søren's stuff. I mean, even if you're not actually here to race, any of the locals, there are thousands of spectators here in the next couple of days. Come down and get your rope needs fulfilled here with Søren from Premium Ropes. Yeah. Thanks a lot for coming, Søren. We appreciate your partnership.
It's a pleasure being here. So looking forward to meet you all.
Oh, back. I hope you enjoyed the film with Premium Ropes. like I said a couple of times, on the 22nd and the 25th of April at 1900 hours, you can attend the really cool splicing course where you learn to splice multi-braid and single braid, Dyneema and so on. And you'll learn how to make soft shackles and stuff like that. Yeah? Have a look at the link that I've put up on Facebook, or go onto our website and have a look where you can enroll or sign up for the two splicing courses. My next point in the agenda was actually something that Matthias Franken has asked about. Thanks for your question, Matthias. Matthias was the winner of the minis last year. Congratulations on that. So he's the guy to beat in his Melgus 24. Matthias has asked, hey, you guys made some changes regarding the use of using a trapeze. Skippers may not use trapeze to maintain their boat in upright position. I hope that's your spelling mistake and not mine, Matthias. If not, I'll get it rectified straight away. Now listen, boats can use sandbags, artificial ballast, water ballast. You can hang a doll full of sand on the side of your boat, but you're just not allowed to the skipper is not physically allowed to hang outside the deck area. That's on the water side of the deck using trapezoid lines. So you can still throw a bag of sand or a bag of concrete or lead over the side, but the skipper is not physically allowed to be trapezed and standing on the side of the boat. And we're simply doing this for safety purpose. The consequences of somebody standing the trapeze in heavy weather and being washed off the side of the boat, and the boat, some of the small boats you guys race, they're so light, you'll end up being dangling in the water with nobody there to help you out. I appreciate the fact the boat will right itself up, but it might end up capsizing to windward before it rights itself up to leeward again. So we're simply forbidden that. So Matisse, I know that you might have used them, and I know that certainly that Rolf Rocky Schmidt, who won the rookie prize last year, he certainly did, and it's really cool Racer. The boat was called CUL Racer. We use them as well, and it's great to watch you guys in your trapezes, but we just simply we've assessed the use of them, and we consider them just to be too dangerous. We're not trying to make the Silverrudder rules stricter year after year. We're trying to make it as simple and keep it as simple as possible, which I think you'll find in the next few things I'm about to say now. So no trapeze for human beings, but you can hang some lead over the side of the boat if you want. So it's simply a saving you guys, not removing your possibilities or options to maintain the boat upright. Now, after the Silverrudder last year, and especially the small start and the medium start, where there were very large starts, like the medium start had 149 boats in the last year, and it certainly does again this year. Exactly 149 boats have enrolled for the medium class. I'll just verify that by going on to our website again. Now, what I'd like to talk about here is the starting line. I know some of you were concerned about the amount of boats on the starting line in various classes, and I appreciate that is a concern to some of you. Let's just have a look at the medium class here. There are 142 boats now in the starting line for the medium class. That's a lot of boats. And then everything from BB10s to Aphrodite, Granadas, Dailers, Sunfast 3200, Arabiata with Jochen Dinkena. Welcome back, Jochen. A first 31.7, a couple of nice JPKs, 1090s, a lot of cool boats. This is the first time we ever have a Scan Cup 99, by the way. Thomas Ozioba, who's also won in previous years. The X332s, Kim Henriksen, also a very experienced racer. He's going to definitely be a contender. Now, my point of showing you this is there are a lot of boats on the starting list, and that 142 boats on the starting line, even though only 130 of them turn up, is a hell of a lot of boats. Most of you, except those of you who have raced small dinghies in the past, will never have seen a starting line with 130 boats on it if you haven't raced the Silverrudder before. Oh, incidentally, welcome back to Per Svendborg. Good to see him back on the starting list again. Welcome back to all of you. It's just such a huge pleasure to see you all here again. Now, my point of showing you the starting list is that 140 boats on the starting line is going to be pretty intimidating for even the most experienced of sailors. Now, please consider how you want to start this race. You don't win the race by being on the very, very front of the starting line necessarily. A lot of the guys that are winning are the people that, come sneaking in from behind and maybe do a second row race. There is absolutely no point in all of you gunning at it at the very start now. Jan B. Hansen, the beast, who's racing his P30, the Aliolus, and has done very, very well in his Figaro in the past, suggested to me just an hour ago that we publicize the coordinates of the starting marks so you can plot them into your GPSs. It's very difficult to ping the line. Some of you have equipment on board which enables you to ping the line so you can see exactly how many meters there are to the start line. But we can't, that's very difficult to do. It's very shallow water either side of the line, and you've got the starting boat and so on. And there's a lot of traffic, a lot of boats there. So what we're going to do is we're going to publicize the coordinates of the line so you can ping them in, or you can plot them into GPS the evening before, after the skipper's briefing, and then you know exactly how far it is. And then that hopefully will sort some of you out. Those of you who are not seasoned and weathered racers, stay back. Don't try and be first across the line. It's going to be hectic. So many of you have asked, why don't you split the start into several different starts? Well, to be quite honest, it just suddenly does no longer a race. Who did I beat on that race? If you have two starts, you're not going to be racing against equals all the way around Funen. So we will retain the option to split the start into two, but we'd like to get you all started at the same time. Now, we've still got another 6 months till the start goes, so we've got plenty of time to talk about that as the time comes. Now, I can't see if there are any more questions on the list there. Not at the moment. What we'd like to do is just like to show you this very last film, if you've got that ready for us, with Rake. I'd like to say before we move on, we're going to be rounding off in a minute, say thanks very much to all the sponsors, our loyal sponsors who come back year after year. The big guys, the big sponsors, Garmin and X-Yachts and Rake and First Seascape and Dragonfly, and I don't know, there are so many, I'm afraid to miss them. Ronstan, who I deal with directly in Australia every year, and we're just so overjoyed that you'd want to be part of the Silverrudder with us. So thank you very, very much. And I know I've missed out lots of the names on the sponsor list, but would like to just show you a little clip, an interview that I did last summer with Martin Massenberg from Rake, who is the owner of Rake, and he's been a Silverrudder aficionado for some years now. He certainly doesn't have the fastest boat, but this guy is the kindest of people, and he's really what the Silverrudder is all about, being part of the Silverrudder team and being a real contender. He's not going to win, but he's going to be there, and he's going to be the guy handing out most hugs. And every one of you gets a bottle of shampoo year after year for coming back from Rake. Great products. So Fleming, if you just show us that film, please.
Hi, this is Philip at the harbour at the Silverrudder 2023, and I'm sitting on Martin's Koopman 39 aluminium, which is actually a gorgeous boat. Martin from the Rake. Great to have you here, Martin.
Thank you, Philip.
I met Martin here 2 years ago, where Martin expressed his admiration for the race and said, "Hey, Philip, how can I become more involved in this race? What can we do for each other?" Perhaps you'd like to tell the viewers a little bit about how we entered an agreement, Martin.
Yeah, I followed the Silverrudder race from the beginning, and it was always a wish to be a part of the race, and I did it for 2 years ago for the first time, and then I saw this event, I saw the community, I saw the atmosphere. I think this is something I want to do with, and tribute to the event with some of my products and our brand name. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so many of the sailors here use Rake's products, and I know I certainly do as well. And when I met Martin 2 years ago, and he said, can we get involved? He was a real Silverrudder aficionado. I said, yeah, why not? So now actually Martin and Rake contribute with a shampoo and every single goodies bag for everybody here, and prize draw gifts and stuff. So we're really, really pleased to have Martin and Rake on board our adventure, and has only made it even more interesting to participate in the race. Now, Martin, let's talk about your boat. Yours isn't the fastest boat in the harbour, is it? But it's probably the most beautiful.
I got 1,500 kilos from the boat since just before the last WEC race we also were a part of, and but it's still 11.5.
You took 1,500 kilos out of the boat.
Of stuff, and the diesel tanks are almost empty, and the water tanks are almost empty. So we are 11,500 kilos lead, aluminium, and teak wood. So I can't make it more, more. Yeah, it's the way it is. So I can't make it more light.
So you'd like some more wind than most of the other boats?
We need some wind. But it never will be a race boat. I was last week sailing with a good friend, Bart Tesnois, who is also, I will call it a semi-prof.
Silverrudder
brother.
Raced there. We're going to miss him this year, Bart.
He will come back next year.
Yeah, good.
And he is sailing a Figaro, Benetton Figaro, the Figaro 2. And he said, Martin, now I know what you are going through on this boat. It is so heavy, everything. There's so much power on the boat, and I have respect for you that you can do this alone because everything is very heavy.
Yeah, of course.
But it is how it is. It is a very nice, safe ship, and it will never be a racer. But
it's a great boat, though. And that's probably one of the things we like about the Silverrudder. It's not just the Figaro 2s and the Aolos 30s and the really hyper smart boats that are here. It's also about the Coupland 39s, these sort of the more classic boats. And there are a couple of folk boats here, spec hookers. We were just talking about there's a Contessa 35 just behind. It's a boat probably built around 1970. So the Silverrudder's for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and Kuluta, the name of the boat, is from 1984, so also almost 40 years old.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's great. It's great to have
Great
it.
boat. Well, great to have you, Martin, and thanks for being involved with this, brother. We appreciate all the help we can get to maintain this event to be such a great race that it is. So thanks for coming.
And I hope that participants enjoy our gift, which is in the goodie bag today.
Great, thank you.
Brings back fond memories. Thank you very much, Martin Massenberg from Rake. Thanks for your participation as a sailor. Thanks for your sponsorship as a partner. Rake make amazing products, and I know I use them on my boat, and a lot of you guys out there are using them as well. So you can see Martin chasing around every port in Northern Europe around the clock as we speak. Thanks a lot, Martin, in his beautiful Dutch aluminium Kuluta. Great boat. Per Svendborg in his Far East 38 has asked a question that I'd like to just address. And I don't know if you guys recall that after the race last year, where a couple of boats went aground, a few boats, but not that many, and 2 or 3, 4 boats went aground just shortly after the start of the race. And I set up an opinion poll on Facebook where I asked you guys, what is your opinion regarding A, use of engines, and 2, whether a boat that's run aground is allowed to use this engine, and what kind of penalty should be awarded to that boat if they decide to use their engines. Now, thanks a lot for your active participation, your input. I did round off and say on Facebook, thanks for your input. There was a lot of very, very interesting and important points. But we've come to the conclusion that we will not allow the use of engines for any reason except for emergency purposes. Now, if you use your engines to start another boat in distress, then you can apply for redress and you'll be awarded redress, which will replace you in the position that you were before you rendered assistance. Now, our jury, consisting of 3 very competent jury members, will take care of that. But we'll not allow the use of engines. Now, it's based upon the fact that the majority of you said this is a race. The boats that are going aground are pushing the limits. They're finding shoals, trying to go on the shoal areas near the starting line, or to try and cut corners, which is perfectly okay. You can cut corners. There are no rules with the Silverrudder. You can navigate anywhere you like. You don't have to do a certain course. You just have to keep Fyn on the same side of your boat throughout the race all the way around, and then past the starting line and the finishing line. So there's the route where there's enough water, And then there's a route where there's not enough depth of water. And if you choose to use a route where there isn't enough water, it is a calculated risk that you'll have made. I know that you've all planned your circumnavigation of Funen before we start. So if you go around, it's a combination of error in navigation and circumstances such as other boats in the vicinity of you forcing you to go around. So consider your positioning carefully. We won't allow you to use your engine, because if we start awarding penalties, for example, 30 minutes for starting your engines to come off the ground, that could position you at a huge advantage to competitors that didn't start their engines but sailed more conservatively. So we've chosen not to allow the use of engines. Okay, good. Well, rounding off this evening, unless there are any more questions, rounding off this evening, would like to say thanks very much for participating. You can re-watch this film, or you can watch it if you haven't seen it already. We'll be doing these short sessions, live streaming sessions, about once a month over the next months. We'll be inviting our sponsors and partners and participants. And please don't hesitate to throw some questions at us in our email box or on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll attempt to answer them as fast as possible. And if they're issues and things you think we should discuss and talk about in an open forum, then I'll happily allow that. So once again, thanks a lot for participating this evening. The Easter starts, or has started for some of us. My boat was launched on Wednesday, and I'm going sailing on my own for a couple of days tomorrow and Tuesday. I think the maximum temperature is going to be about 6 or 7 degrees, but there's not going to be too much wind, so it should be ideal. So if anybody wants to come and sail on the South Funen, let me know. Martin Meredin has said, could we discuss the clockwise sailing direction going west after the start and asking the ferries to change their plans? Martin, I will definitely address that during the next live stream. We've run out of time this evening, but I promise you that will be one of the topics next time we meet, because I do agree that we have to look at the option of being able to go the other direction when the wind is like it was last year, but we end up having to beat out of the sound. That makes it quite risky. I mean, the incidents and the groundings might not have occurred if all boats had been on a broad reach or had the wind abaft of the beam. So we're aware of that. Unfortunately, the ferries aren't too keen on changing their schedule, but we'll have to put some more pressure on them. Okay, thanks for your question, Martin. I promise to revert to that topic next time we see each other. See some of you on Sydfyn. I'm going to be sailing my Dela 36 Refuge for another few weeks yet, at least. And the boat will be trotting around the islands in the next couple of days. Hope to see some of you out there. Thanks for joining. Bye.